Introducing the new low-fat Subway Buffalo Chicken. Spicy chicken, cool light ranch, one hot sandwich. All the flavor you love with 7 grams of fat. For a limited time, hurry to Subway and enjoy the newest part of a Subway Fresh Fit meal. The BS Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects.
First of all,
This is the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
it might be cool, I don't know. And if it's not, I don't
The
care.
BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons works for ESPN. He's also named the sports guy, and he writes a comical sports column. He must be a popular dude.
The BS Report.
It's got a real dirty sound, like a rusty steak knife cutting through a well-aged steak.
Now.
Here's Bill Simmons.
Welcome to the BS Report. Doing this on a hotel phone, which I hate. And in fact, we were going to take this week off, but so many people at the book signing said, hey, where was my Cousin Sal podcast? How do you do that to me? And there was enough outrage that we're going to have to do this bad audio podcast through my hotel phone. Cousin Sal, you there?
What's that? Yeah, I have a lot of relatives in Chicago. I sent them down there. I'm like, do me a favor, bother the sports guy. Tell him you miss me. Show. But
You're
yeah.
on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline. Congratulations.
Excellent. I did it again. I made it. I don't know about this book tour. How's it going there?
Well, I think I'm going to create Swine Flu 2.0 when it's all over.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going to be Patient X. Very excited.
Well,
I'm not feeling good. It's all adrenaline at this point, and I don't know what happens when it's over.
you think God's punishing you for not picking up a kicker this week in our fantasy league?
Yeah, we'll talk about that quickly. I just want to mention before we get into this, every week we pick the lines. Last week we did not pick the lines. I emailed them to Sal, and I won 10-5. There was a witness for me picking the lines, though, our friend Lewis. But
yeah, he's a little seedy anyway, but I'll let you slide on that. You're up 5-3, and
Okay.
this is week 9, and the loser gets beaten with a Subway sandwich for a
Right. Okay. So in our fantasy draft last week, we went head-to-head, and I was doing this signing thing. I had 7 signings in 5 cities and was basically living off my BlackBerry for all email and internet for 4 days, and during that time forgot to pick up a kicker against you. I had Steven Gostkowski. I became that guy who didn't have a kicker, who had the kicker on his bye week in his lineup. It was so humiliating.
And I had mixed feelings. Like, I'm playing against you, so of course I don't mind you putting up a goose egg in the kicker slot. But I was annoyed that you didn't pick up a kicker.
I know.
I'm playing against you, and it's. I just think this book tour is your priorities are all out of whack.
It's terrible. It's really weird to have to actually work. I need to go back to my life of not working.
Well, but look, I mean, work should not be that far. It should be fantasy football, God, favorite NFL team, work, and then a family, I guess, in there.
Well, what really hurt is that I have Masasakwe, whatever his name is. He's still on my roster. Even if I had just logged on to waive him and not pick up anyone, I would have been happier.
Yeah.
I have the number 1 receiver in the Cleveland Browns, a team that throws for 36 yards a game. I need to get him off my team. Yeah.
Yeah, it's enough reason to cancel the tour, I think.
So we thought, as we were texting last night, I would have picked up, I think, the Colts kicker, the guy replacing Vinatieri. Who is it, Stover?
Yeah, it's Stover. So if you had picked him up,
it would have been 13 points.
13 points. If you had picked him up and Roddy White hauls in that touchdown at the end, then you would have won. But
right. At least it would have been exciting in the fourth quarter with Roddy White. But
I was praying you'd lose by 12 or 11 or 10.
I actually think we should have a rule. If you start anybody who has a bye week, you should just automatically lose the week. Like if I had one with a kicker and a bye week, that's humiliating anyway.
I think, and if the team that you have is on the bye is your favorite team, then you should lose the next week too.
Yes, you should lose the whole season.
You knew the Pats had a bye.
You know what's funny? I didn't even think about it. That's how little thought I put into it. Didn't even occur to me to even go on there and try to find an internet connection. It was a bad NFL weekend for me. I got killed on my picks. I somehow ended up doing another 3-team teaser, which lost.
Yeah. Well, I blame myself for that, but then you talked me into the Vikings parlay.
Zombie Sonics.
late Sunday.
Yeah, and Kevin Durant went 3 for 21.
I mean, it's one of those things where everyone had the Vikings in parlay Sunday night, so you knew it wasn't going to win.
Joe Mead, will you bleep those the references to the team that should not be named?
Sure.
Thank you. It should have served me correct for betting on that team that I've refused to say their name. Kevin Durant was like it really it was the worst game I think I've ever seen a good player play.
Yeah,
just firing
it was the worst
up air
game
balls.
I ever followed him on the internet for too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. And the thing is, I love the Vikes and somehow didn't win money. All right, let's go to the Week 9 line, shall we?
All right, Washington and Atlanta.
I just want to say you're going to win this week because I did not look at the line at the matchups ahead of time.
Well, you're going
which is always when I lose.
You're going to have to do poorly for me to win. But
all right,
Atlanta.
Atlanta by 9.5.
All right, I said 10.5. It's 11.5.
Oh.
It might be a little high, but I think if you're ever thinking about using Atlanta in the suicide pool, this is the one, right?
Yeah, you'd think. It does seem like you could just throw on them every play.
Yeah. All right, Miami at New England. This is your team. They play this week, the Patriots.
Oh, do they? That's good.
Yeah.
I wish I had remembered that they didn't play last week. I'm not sure what to make of this Miami team. I'm going to say Pats by 7.
All right, I get this one too. I said 8.5, and I was way off even. It's 11.
Wow.
You don't think of the Dolphins and even the Niners as 3-win teams, but they are. I mean, and they could stay with anyone. Don't you feel that way?
I don't think the Dolphins should be getting 11 points against anybody.
It's a lot.
Although maybe they're thinking the rookie cornerbacks against Brady.
Yeah. And
I
also
don't know.
the refs had a week off from protecting his leg, so they're going to be raring to go. All right, KC at Jacksonville's the third game.
Oh, Jacksonville was embarrassing last week.
Yeah.
They embarrassed everyone who picked them, including myself. I'm going to say that just looks like a Jacksonville by 3.5.
Let me do some math here because I was way off the other way. I said Jacksonville by 10. I still think Kansas City's awful, but it's Jacksonville by 7. So
I win.
I think I get it, right?
No, I win. I had 3.5. You had 10, so it's closer to me.
Well, you were off by 3.5. I was off by 3.
You're right. You get it.
Yeah. All right, we'll split it. And Kansas City has one win. They're on the road. Jacksonville has a guy who can score 4 touchdowns every game. I think this should be higher. I don't know.
Doesn't Jacksonville stink, though?
Yeah, they're pretty bad, too. But
I mean, it's not like Vince Young played a good game on Sunday, and they still won by 17 points.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. That's probably a stay away. All right, Houston at Indy.
Wow. I mean, I got to say, I had Buffalo as my sleeper pick last week, or the underdog, whatever, and the stars were aligned. Like, they got the 3 turnovers in the first 15 minutes or whatever happened, and Houston ran away from them. Houston might be good. Might be a decent team.
This Ryan Moats thing, like, Steve Slayton's the top back, and he fumbled, and now it's like, Ryan Moats is our guy. We're going to a 3-back system.
Is that true? Like,
fumbled. Is he gone, too?
They've benched Slayton?
I read, he fumbled, and then they took him out, and they put Moats in, and he went crazy. And now they said they're going to a 3-back rotation. So.
Oh, my God.
Chris Brown. So, I don't know. I do like the Texans here, but what do you think the line is?
I had that Indy game on Sunday, and it just doesn't look like they can run the ball.
Yeah.
Really, they just can't get more than like 3 yards a carry. So I think I like Houston a little bit in this game. I'm going to say Indy by 7.
All right. Well, I get this. I said 10, and it's 9. So I'm a little closer, but
it's a little high.
4-0 for me. 4-0.
But haven't we learned from last week that you can't have these double-digit lines when the underdog is actually a half-decent team?
I agree. I think Houston, the last week of the season, they're playing for a playoff spot.
Because look at what happened last week. Atlanta, that line ended up being a little too high. The San Fran line ended up being too high, and there was one more. Carolina. I guess they stink, though, but I don't know. They bumped these lines so high now that it only seems to make sense if the Bills are playing or the Bucks or teams like of that ilk.
I like Houston here, too.
I do, too.
Baltimore at Cincy.
Cincy week off.
You're going to get me here.
Yeah. Well, Baltimore looked really good last week. I'm going to say, I don't know if I'm going to get you because I don't know what I'm going to pick here. I'm going to say Cincy by 1.
All right, that's closer than I said Cincy by 3. It's Baltimore by 3.
Yeah, people like Baltimore. They were impressive. I mean, they really I watched that whole game. Denver was hopeless in that game.
But did nothing. These teams played like 3 weeks ago, didn't they? And Cincy stayed with them and won the game in the last minute. But I don't think there's that much separating these teams.
No. Well, it seems like we're starting to see every team has a flaw, and now it depends on which team you play, whether the flaw surfaces. Like Baltimore, you can throw on them. But Denver, the way they do it with those short passes, like Baltimore just swallowed that up. But Cincy will be able to throw on them, I think. I kind of like Cincy.
Yeah, I like Cincy too. I think they should be given. All right, Green Bay at Tampa.
I don't think Green Bay's good. I'm going to go out on a limb.
Really?
Yeah, I just don't. I think I would put them even below Miami.
Rodgers takes some dumb sacks, but
he really does. He's just. I don't know if he's that good. So it's Green Bay at Tampa?
Yeah, I mean Tampa scares me coming off a bye, right? Who knows what they're capable of? You give Raheem Morris 2 weeks to prepare.
I think they bumped this up high, and I think it's Green Bay by 10.5.
We tie there because it's 10, and I said 9.5.
Yeah, so. Makes sense.
All right, Arizona, Chicago. Quite possibly the two most schizophrenic teams in the league right now.
Yeah, Arizona's number one schizo.
Yeah.
Chicago won 30-6, and nobody felt good on the Bears side after. It was like almost a moral defeat. They should have won 60-6.
Don't even bet this game.
Yeah, I think Arizona is just now a stay away. I'm going to say it feels like Arizona by Chicago by 1.
All right, I hit this one exact. Chicago by 3.
Wow, so they're saying Chicago and Arizona are the same.
I wouldn't. I mean, they're both 4 and 3. I wouldn't even know how to touch this game. They both look so poor, and Chicago has never really looked great. But
Chicago's only beaten Pittsburgh, right, as a good team.
Yeah,
and that was that stupid game when the kicker missed the 2 field goals. I don't know if Chicago. I just don't think they're that good.
No.
All right.
Like Arizona, I have to watch them a little more. Carolina at New Orleans. This is the late afternoon games.
I told you you'd crush me this week. I'm going to say New Orleans by 12.5.
All right, I said 13.5, and it's 14.5. So I get that one too. That's high. I really think I'm looking at the schedule. New England or my team, the Cowboys, only shot at beating these Saints this year. They have 2 against Carolina, 2 against Tampa. Lousy teams on their schedule the rest of the way. I think you can move the ball on the Saints, and that you can outscore them if a couple of things go right. Yeah. In my opinion. Tough at home to finish off. Detroit at Seattle. Seattle stinks. Garbage game, I know. 2 and 5. But this will be, they'll still bump this high. This will be like Seattle by 7. They bumped it higher than that. I said 11, and it's 10. Well, that's stupid. It shouldn't be that high, right? Yeah, it should not be that high. That's stupid. I don't agree with that. I'm never taking Detroit, though. I can't. I'm doing a new thing. I'm just crossing games off, so I don't have to look at them the rest of the week or anything. Hey, by the way, a lot of feedback on the book signing lines about what kind of sub we should beat each other with, and people just wanted to make sure that it's videotaped. Seems to be really? Yeah, we have to. By everyone. Yeah. Pay-per-view, I'm thinking. We gotta make a big thing of it. Could we get like $10? I think so. People had like really long theories on what the sub should be and how the bread should be toasted and what should be in it, and you want to make sure it doesn't fall apart when you're whacking them, and it's really maybe it should be on the undercard of like a UFC event or I don't know. It could at least be the undercard of Cotto Pacquiao, like that kind of caliber boxing match. I think. I like it. All right, Tennessee at San Francisco. Oh. 3 wins San Fran has. Seems like they're so much better than this. Yeah. I don't know what to make of half the teams in this league anymore. I'm going to say San Francisco by 9.5. Oh, wow. You really are sick. It's I said 5.5. It's 4. So I know. This is how I feel about the Chiefs. There's a 1-win team on the road, and they should get a ton of points. But wait a second. So Seattle is laying 10 to Detroit. Yeah. But San Francisco is laying 4 to Tennessee, who isn't really any better than Detroit, but San Francisco is better than Seattle is. Tennessee is a 3-3 team with or without Young, and that Chris Johnson scares the hell out of everyone. That's the only thing I could think, but you're right. It should be higher. These lines are stupid. Here's another one I'm crossing off immediately. San Diego at the Giants. I'm fed up with these Giants. I've bet them 3 weeks in a row on a 3-team 10-point teaser, and they're awful teams that don't not cover 3 weeks in a row on a 10-point teaser.
There's been a lot of Tom Coughlin staring in disbelief lately.
Yeah.
That shot, the old school 2006 shot of him just kind of staring and not believing what he's seeing. I don't like either of these teams. I'm going to say Giants by 6.
All right, you get that one. I said 3.5. It's 5. It's gone to 5. So.
You know, by the way, when I'm picking games well, I'm always within like a point, half point of each line. Now I'm like way off.
Yeah,
I need to tell you, it's almost like a golfer loses his swing.
Yeah, I might tell you to extend this book tour now. I like this.
It's bad. I don't get to watch NFL Network. I don't get to go research my sites. Like, this is terrible. I didn't even know Andre Johnson was playing on Sunday until the game started.
Wow.
Terrible.
This is basketball taking over your life.
I know.
All right, Dallas at Phillies, a Sunday night game.
How you feeling?
I'll tell you what, I was talking to my buddy Aaron about this, and the next 2 games we're 5-2. It's kind of gravy because, like, we're at Philly and at Green Bay. If we lose those, we're 5-4, and then we're home against the Skins and Raiders on Thanksgiving. Like, we're going to be 7-4, I think. And I don't know. I mean, Miles Austin. I don't know how much longer this can go on, but this is.
I watched football with my dad on Sunday, and randomly out of nowhere, we had the Dallas game on one of the TVs, and he goes, "You know, there's something else, that Miles Austin." He gave him my dad's seal of approval. Couldn't believe it. Who would have thought young Miles Austin getting the seal of approval from Dad?
I like to see a picture of those two together. I would hang that in my room.
Miles Austin's just good. I mean, let's all stop fighting it. This guy's a good receiver.
Even if he's double teamed now, I'm reading they might cheat a safety over, but I think that helps Witten out. I like our offense. I really do.
Yeah.
But maybe not this week.
Well, I think this one is a little bit like Atlanta, New Orleans, where it's just going to be 2 secondaries that can't stop each other. I'm going to say Philadelphia by 4.
All right, I said 3.5, and it's 3, so I get that one.
Congratulations. That means Vegas thinks Dallas and Philly are equal.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I'm looking at the NFC East odds, and they're Giants are 2-1, Cowboys are plus 160, Eagles are plus 120, so I don't know. They're not letting you win any money there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 3.
Yeah, okay, rub it in. Rub it in on the sick guy who doesn't have internet and can't follow football.
You have to get 7.5 points on this. Pittsburgh at Denver. You will win this one for me. Pittsburgh
at Denver. You know, the one thing we learned last week was that that Baltimore line kept climbing against the Broncos. People still don't believe in the Broncos.
I'm not going to say. You guess it.
I'm going to say this is a pick 'em.
All right, you're closer because I said Denver would give 2.5. Pittsburgh is giving 3.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I don't think anybody, especially if you watch that game, it does seem like people are kind of starting to figure out how to stop Denver a little bit.
Yeah. Well, Vegas is convinced the Broncos are a fraud. Undefeated at home, getting points.
You know what's the most interesting bet in sports right now?
What is it?
I don't know what the odds are, and they've probably dropped, but Carmelo Anthony for MVP. The guy is possessed. I don't know what happened. I don't know what kind of light bulb went off on him, but he really might score 35 a game this year. He's unbelievable.
Which podcast do you think this is? Why are we talking basketball here?
Well, we're talking gambling.
Well, because I said Denver. I said Pittsburgh at Denver. You got to go in the whole Carmelo.
Gambling. Yeah, I get excited. I haven't had a forum in a while. I have things to say.
What are we going to do? What are we going to do about an upset?
I like Houston. I think we go all out. What's that, like plus 350?
You know what? I don't even have that. I'm stupid.
Houston always plays Indy tough.
All right, so we had a guy, Jamie, I believe his name was, from Milwaukee or somewhere in Wisconsin, figure it out for us, and we're up for the year. I don't have that number in front of me, but
we're up like 1175 for the year.
So what do we want to put? How many fake dollars?
Well, let's say the Texans line will be like around 325, 350, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So let's put 300 of that on the Texans.
Great, it's done.
It's a good idea, right?
It's done.
Quick baseball thoughts before you go back to work.
I can't watch this game. It's a Mets fan nightmare watching this World Series. Or honestly, I try to if Kate Hudson were nude with a tattoo of me on her in her thigh. Fox promised that every inning I wouldn't want. I can't do it. I don't know.
Wow.
I can't do it. It drives me crazy.
I had 2 signings in New York, and repeatedly was asked by people, I'm a Mets fan, who do I root for? And I kept telling them, why do you have to watch the World Series? Just don't watch it. When you're watching your 2 arch enemies, there's no winner. There's no way you can feel good about any scenario that happens unless there's a bench-clearing brawl and, like, a lot of casualties. So just don't watch. Watch other stuff. Watch Mad Men.
I just, you're right. I can't watch. The Yankees, I think, would hurt more. As big a-holes as the Phillies have been towards the Mets, and we play them 18 times a year, I can't watch the Yankees celebrate. And let me tell you, those cream pies, that's steroid cream, by the way. That's how they get around it.
It's
People
the clear?
What?
It's the clear, whatever Barry Bonds is?
Exactly, and that way they could say, hey, I had no idea I was administered steroids. You saw it. Everyone saw it in America saw it. I was hitting the pot in the face with a steroid pie. I had no idea.
Well, here's what I tell the Mets fans, including yourself. You hate both of these teams equally. In my opinion, you should be rooting for the Phillies because it's, the Phillies already won last year. It's not like another World Series victory is going to make them more insufferable or you're going to hate them more after that. If the Yankees win the World Series, then all of the a-holes that we've had to deal with from 1977 to 2000 are all going to be back. They're all going to be getting. I'm already getting the emails from them. They're all going to be back. They're all going to be puffing their chest and say, "Oh, order's been restored." And we don't want that. Who wants that? Who wants them back?
I know.
You have to root for the Phillies.
I hate the whole thing. I do. I don't know what to say.
And plus,
I can't.
What would be greater?
I can't root for any pitch.
What would be greater than the Yankees blowing a 3-1 lead in the World Series and blowing the final 2 games at new sterile Yankee Stadium because Girardi pitched all of these guys on 3 days rest for an entire month and they wore down? What would
that would be pretty sweet. That would be sweet. I'll tell you when it would hurt. It would hurt in April when the Phillies waited to play the Mets and unleash the banner.
No, you'll be fine. Come on, we can't let the Yankees get their swagger back.
All right, I'll root for the Phillies.
All right, I'm glad. All right, go back to work. Talk to you next
Jimmy
week.
Kimmel Live, let me just promote. We have Manny Pacquiao on tonight, Pam Anderson, Ted Danson, and Lamar and Khloe Kardashian, whatever their name is. If they make it, they'll be on Friday.
You have Clomar on?
Yeah, Clomar's on.
Wow. Wait, do you have 1 minute to tell the Melissa Joan Hart story?
What is it? Oh, go ahead. Yeah, tell it.
No, you tell it.
Melissa Joan Hart was on. We interviewed the ousted contestant from Dancing with the Stars the night that kicked off every Tuesday night. Melissa Joan Hart was on. Jimmy made a joke, said, "Do you think if you could have used witchcraft?" What was she on? She was on.
Melissa the Teenage Witch, or Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch. He's like, "Do you think if you could have used witchcraft, you would have been, done better?" And she said, "Oh boy, that joke is so 1996." And Jimmy said, without missing a beat, said, "Yeah, but to be fair, so are you."
And just murdered her.
He killed her.
I got forwarded that clip so many times. It was a one-punch Pacquiao against Ricky Hatton knockout.
It was tit for tat. I think they both deserved it. I really do. You don't crap on the jokes. He can't just sit there. He's got to say something.
That was great. Check out that clip if you haven't seen it. It's really funny.
Or I think he won't be as antagonistic with Michael Irvin should he be voted off tonight.
I would hope not.
All right.
Cousin Sal, talk to you next week.
All right, get better, man.
Thanks, man. All right, we have a little extra time here. We're going to call my buddy JackO at work, diehard Yankee fan. I guarantee he's nervous right now. I know he is. I know he's nervous. Let's see if he is.
Complex Litigation, this is John.
Ooh, Johnny. You starting to feel it getting tight around the collar, buddy?
It is getting a little tight.
Oh, Johnny.
It's getting a little tight.
3 days rest for your Game 6 and 7 starters for the entire month. Starting to wear down a little.
Yes, sir. Well, Pettit hasn't pitched on 3 days rest at any point, I don't think.
He hasn't?
No, this would be the third time for CC, but I don't think Pettit has.
Oh, I screwed that up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm on a book tour. I only have the USA Today to learn from sports these days.
You don't even know what state you're in right now.
I really don't. I don't know where I am, but I learn things from Twitter, from people follow me on Twitter. That's how I learn information, and by emails and USA Today.
Plus, you're combating about 15 strains of swine flu right now, so you've got a lot going on, you know.
I had one of my editors, Mike Philbrick, joke that there's going to be created the Simmons flu shot from the virus that I've spread across the nation or whatever I end up inflicting.
H1N2.
H1N Simbo.
H1N33.
Yeah, if they're going to name it after me, I want the 33 in there.
Absolutely.
Johnny, did you have the champagne out last night?
It was chilling. It was on ice. It was definitely chilling.
Kind of thought you were the team of destiny after the Pedro Feliz homer, followed by the 3 in the top of the ninth. A-Rod, biggest hit of his career.
Absolutely, I was
looking really good.
Absolutely, I could feel it last night, and some people thought that they should have just basically conceded last night's game because of Cliff Lee and thrown up the equivalent of the white flag and pitched Chad Gaudin, saving Burnett for full rest for Game 6 and a fully rested Pettit for Game 7 if necessary. But I kind of like the fact that Girardi went for the jugular with A.J. Burnett.
Mm.
You know, he put the once you got the team down, he went for it, which I liked. Now,
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I didn't like it.
Really, you thought Cliff Lee wins that game, and the thing was, Cliff Lee did not pitch as lights out as he did in Game 1. It was a very winnable game.
That's true. I think the mistake was made in Game 4. I would have gotten. I know the whole thing about Cliff Lee never started a game on 3 days rest, all that stuff. It's not. He's not Roger Clemens in 1986.
Right.
He's Cliff Lee. I think he can do his junk ball routine, and I don't know.
Yeah, Charlie Manuel should have started him in Game 4. You mean?
I mean, he's not like Tim Wakefield, but he's at the same time. It's not like if Cliff Lee is working at 95% capacity versus 100%. I don't really think it's going to affect him that much.
Right. Yeah, he definitely should have pitched him in Game 4.
Well, just because now, here's the thing: they have Hamels in Game 7, right? Or whoever else they're going to pitch.
Yeah, I mean they're going to go with some sort of should it come to a Game 7, and please God don't let it. But if it was to come to that, I think they're going to go with some combo of Cole Hamels, Joe Blanton, and Happ.
Yeah, that's a disaster.
Right, pretty much.
You got to go down in flames with Cliff Lee in this series.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
After you're down 2-1.
Oh yeah.
He has to stay, and after what happened to Hamels, and he's clearly a Section 8 at this point, and he's going off the deep end. You can't bring that guy back. It reminds me a little bit of what happened to the Red Sox in 1986 in Game 7, when they brought Giraldi in, I think in the 7th inning when it was still a game, and. Yeah, whatever, the bullpen, but he just shouldn't have pitched in that game. He was gone.
Oh, yeah, he had the deer in the headlights look. I think that's where the deer in the headlights look originated.
And Cole Hamels is going to have that same look in a Game 7.
Oh, I know. After
the crowd's going to smell it.
He just wanted this season to be over and get it over. He couldn't wait to go home, and now he's saying, "Oh, I'd never quit on my team." Come on, Cole.
Come on, Cole. And Cole, maybe you shouldn't have filmed so many commercials.
Maybe that was it. Yeah, that commercial is really annoying, too.
It is, yeah.
I wonder how Heidi from Survivor feels about all this. Do you think she regrets her choice? It's his wife.
That's who he married?
Yeah.
How did I not know that?
I don't know. Well, you're on the book tour. You've probably forgotten.
I don't know anything. I mean, the one freaking game I wanted to see was the Pedro Yankee Stadium Game 2 game.
Right.
And of course, I was on an airplane for 4 of the 6 innings or however long he pitched.
Pedro pitched really well. Much better than I expected, unfortunately.
And all the Red Sox fans got sucked in.
And seeing him and watching his smirking and everything in that game reminded me of how much I despise him with every fiber of my being.
It was nice. It was a little retro despising.
There's one of the problems with the series is I don't really hate anyone on the Phillies. Like, they seem like a good group of guys. Even Jay Roll with his 5-game prediction, I was like, what do I want the guy to say, that the Phillies are going to lose? I mean, I can't get mad at Jay Roll. Ryan Howard seems like one of the all-time good guys.
Yeah.
There's nobody to hate, and then Pedro Martinez pitched, and I'm like, wait a second. There certainly is someone to hate.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
There's the one. And Francesa, remarkably, was killing the fans the next day for not giving him a standing ovation when he came out of the game in the 7th.
Really?
That the Yankee fans should have stood up and appreciated all that he had done and what a great competitor he'd been. I'm like, are you kidding me? You had to restrain me from throwing something at him.
Yeah, there's too much bad blood there.
I mean, it's just ridiculous statement. It's just so foolish. You can't even rationally discuss how stupid it is to say Yankee fans should have gotten up and give him a standing out. It's asinine.
Yeah, Pedro is in that rare category for Yankee fans that and this will happen with fan bases, where even like at the Old Timers Day, 25 years from now or whatever, if he's seen on the field, he'll get booed.
Absolutely.
It's like, hey, I'm 70. Give me a break.
Right.
No, we're still going to boo you, Pedro.
Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. Right.
Yeah. Well, this is my other problem. I would have started Pedro in game. I personally would have gone Cliff Lee, then Cole Hamels in game 2. I would have gone Pedro game 3 in Philly because I just think he would have been unbeatable. Cliff Lee again.
Yeah, you had to go back to Cliff Lee in game 4. I think Manuel thought that Pedro had been in Yankee Stadium before he could handle the pressure of Yankee Stadium, whereas Cole Hamels might have wet himself on the mound given the state of his state of mind. Is it really a pressure at this point, though? It's not the same stadium. No, is it really like the Lions? Is it really the Lions' Den where you're going to $5 billion Yankee Stadium? No, but it's the World Series. He figured Cole Hamels wanted the comfort of his home fans. He didn't want people screaming things about his mother and about Heidi from Survivor. Who knows? I don't know. And that'll be interesting tomorrow night too. That you have Andy Pettitte on 3 days rest, but you have Pedro, who every start in the postseason he's had 5 weeks rest basically. So that game has 12-11 written all over it. Yeah, I thought Pedro was going to get shelled in game 2, and he didn't. No, he pitched great, but I don't know that he has. I don't know that he can do that 4 days later. The difference is, it's funny. Baseball is a really simple sport. It just kind of comes down sometimes to 3 or 4 players, not to 25. Rivera. If you just switch Rivera and Lidge, Philly wins game 4. Oh, undoubtedly. And you could have said the same thing about the previous 2 series too. If you just switch the closers, then it's a different series. And then, so that's one thing. And then the other thing is the 1, 2, 3, 4 that the Yanks have. It just really kind of just came together this year. I know Teixeira's not hitting well. Well, Teixeira's having a terrible postseason. No, but it's still it lingers through. When you go through the lineup, it's like, there's the number 9 guy. These 4 guys are coming up, and that's, you don't get a break. The guy who's done it, it's been Jeter, who's been phenomenal the whole postseason, and Johnny Damon, who's been huge of late, and A-Rod, who's been big. Yeah, I guess those 3 guys, right. Swisher's been terrible. Teixeira's been terrible offensively, although he's great defensively. And Robinson Cano, they had to save a lot of time and effort and just put an out up when he walks up there. He's pathetic. I didn't even know he was still in the series. Is he still playing? He doesn't know he's still in the series. He's absolutely pathetic. They remind me of what the Sox had in 2007, where when Manny and Ortiz got going, and it was just every time he came around the lineup, you knew those guys were looming, and it put so much pressure on getting the other guys out because you didn't want guys on base when those guys came up. Exactly. And that's why I think the Yankees have the best team. And Teixeira Teixeira still puts fear in people, I think, but nice try with the reverse streaks. Teixeira still puts a fear in people, I think, even though he's not hitting because he could break out of it at any time, one hopes. So I got to say, he's a little overwhelmed by the moment. Even what was the game 4 when they scored the 3 runs? Yeah. He's a little too excited about the runs. It's kind of like, hey, Tex, act like you've been there before. That's a big moment there. Jumping around. I know, but he was jumping around like a 12th man on Duke. The game wasn't even over yet. It's like, all right. Chava gives up the home run. They're right there to tie it, and the Yankees are like, oh, here we go. And, then to get 3 off Lidge. Johnny Damon, that's one of the greatest plays I've ever seen in my life. I'm with you. I'm just saying, it's an exciting moment. He's kind of like that guy who has his first girlfriend, who's maybe not lasting as long as he should. Maybe gets a little overexcited at the wrong moments. Not really polished yet. Premature celebration. Is that what you're trying to say about him? Not really polished yet. Doesn't really have the October. It's his first World Series, isn't it? Where I think A-Rod, I think it's his first anything. Has he ever even been in a big game in his life? Well, he's losing the playoffs with the Angels last year. Yeah, for 3 games. Yeah, well, it was swept. Got a little taste. The guy who really is locked in and has been locked in is just A-Rod. Has been unbelievable. Yeah, he's been huge. It's really, the world has been turned upside down. It's amazing, I got nothing to hold on to anymore, Johnny. All the athletes I make fun of are now clutch. Peyton Manning has a ring, and A-Rod's clutch in the postseason. I know there's nothing for you to mock. Pretty soon, Joan's husband from Mad Men is going to learn how to act, and I won't even have him. Wait, who from Mad Men? The Joni's husband, the redhead's husband. Oh, the doctor. Yeah, the worst actor. I said he was the worst actor since Big Pussy on Twitter, and then some people quickly reminded me how bad A.J. Soprano was. So
So he's the worst actor since A.J. Soprano on a good show.
Now, were you able to watch this week's Mad Men, given your book tour?
I did. I was home for, I came home for like 36 hours.
Sunday,
I packed in all the shows I missed somehow. I actually stayed up late, even though I had the 5 o'clock wake-up call the next morning, so I could finish all the shows. Was that the last Mad Men, though?
No, next week is the finale.
Okay. I was so fired up.
I mean,
I
knew all
it was
year
coming.
was building up to the JFK thing.
Oh, well, I knew immediately when one of the guys called in, whatever the other guy was, into the office, and the TV was going, and it was the soap opera, and I had just seen the assassination episode, and that was the soap opera. I was like, oh, JFK.
Yeah, you watched that. I watched it, too, the History Channel thing of all the real-time TV reports.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, that was a good match.
I wasn't expecting the JFK thing. I figured they'd save that for the finale, so it was really surprising when they just laid that on us. That was a really good episode.
I was worried that it was too easy. That was my fear, that the creator would think, I'm not doing it because everyone expects me to do it, so I'm not going to do it.
See, I figured there'd be like this big build-up and there'd be like all kinds of calamity and everything going on around it, but it was handled well. Like that's why it's such a good show, because a lot of shows would have just been like so over the top with it.
Yeah. But
I think they did it the right way. You know, I mean, it was you kind of had a huge build-up for that all year because you knew it was coming, but I wasn't disappointed.
It was a great night of TV because Curb was off the charts good.
Yeah, that was
one of my favorite ones ever. The Swan. I think it's been a little unfocused this year. It's kind of going in 19 different directions each episode. That was like a very, not to sound like Mr. TV critic, but it was a very focused episode. That was really good.
I like the fact that he defended Derek Jeter against the stonemason, too.
Yeah, that was good. My favorite was Morty Funkhauser, though. That just murdered me for some reason. When he did that. What did he say? Well, maybe it was an accident, but you're still a murderer.
What's up with Marty Funkhauser's face?
Oh, my Lord.
I mean, he doesn't even have eyebrows. What's going on there?
Well, there might have been some tinkering, John.
Well, clearly, but I mean, you might want to go back in and have some eyebrows added in.
I think he's got the Charlie Villanueva condition.
What was his name? Super Dave Osborne. It's not looking so good these days. maybe a couple stunts went awry.
He's old. He's like 70.
I know. He's looking every minute of it too.
Wait till you see what I look like when I'm 70. I don't even look good now at 40.
Throw in a couple more book tours. Yeah, you're like 3 book tours away from being Marty Funkhauser.
I got to say, I know the NBA guys fly. I know they fly charter.
Yeah.
So here's a big but still coming up. But but still, to switch around these different time zones and get up at weird times and all that stuff, it's just not good for you. There's no upside.
Taxing.
My body doesn't know where I am. Like I was in Boston on Friday night, then I was in L.A., then I was in Chicago, now I'm in Phoenix.
Ugh. Plus all the temperature changes.
Yeah, it's just confusing. Like your body you're in disarray the whole time.
Yeah, that's got to be rough. That's the one part of being a professional athlete that's rough is the travel. That's a nightmare.
Yeah, especially I was watching Denver-Portland on Thursday night in my hotel room, and they were saying how Denver had gotten delayed by a blizzard. They'd played the night before, and they landed at like 4:30 in the morning, and now they're playing this game at 7:30 in a different time zone. And it's like we never factor that in, I don't think.
Right, that's a good point.
Yankees Phillies though, it's like a 1.5 hour train ride?
Yeah, they've been taking trains like old school. I like that.
Like it. You think people are wearing fedoras and smoking cigs?
I would love that if they had like an old time train. They're smoking cigars on the train and straw boaters and playing cards.
Mike Lupica started dressing up like Brentlin Rice.
Yeah, exactly. The train stops at the brothels along the way.
Hey, Ron, come with me to the cafe car. I want to talk to you about Game 4.
Yeah, right. Over like a gin Ricky or something and a cigar. Yeah, that's cool.
However, you've expressed your concerns to me that maybe Joe Buck is rooting against the Yankees in this series. Make your case. I
keep expecting him to have in Game 6. He's going to have like that Chase Utley soul patch thing. Or Jason Worth soul patch thing and like fluffed out hair. I mean, he so openly roots for the Phillies, and I'm sure every team
What's your evidence though? Because I don't pick that up.
Because he got so gleefully excited when Feliz hit the home run the other night to make it 4-4. He was practically like jumping out of his seat.
That was a great baseball moment though.
And when the Yankees won the game, at the end of the game when Rivera gets the final out, it goes to Teixeira, and he's like, "Yankees win. 3-1. He was so bummed out. I mean, you could just tell in his voice. I mean, that was an exciting game. The Yankees scored 3 runs in the 9th inning. He didn't have any of the similar excitement about the Yankees scoring 3 runs that he did about Feliz's home run. It wasn't even close.
Let me say words that are rarely, if ever, said. In Joe Buck's defense, number one, a Yankee win meant that the series was probably over in 5 games.
Right.
At least that's what Joe's thinking was at the time.
He wants it to go 7 games. I understand that.
Number 2, I think he was excited for extra innings, and he's calling one of the all-time classics because the Feliz homer was an awesome moment.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, geez, I don't care what team you're rooting for, if you're an innocent bystander or whatever. Like, that is just a great baseball moment. The fans were going out of their mind crazy. And I don't know, it was just cool. And then it looked like Lidge was getting through that inning, and he had that at-bat with Damon was like 20 pitches.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just he couldn't get him out. And then, all of a sudden that weird the thing that bothered me was that the Damon steal, that they didn't tell us what was going on for like a minute.
I know, that was the thing.
It was like just bizarre. I didn't know what was going on.
They didn't show you third base. So
right.
They have the camera on second base, and I'm screaming at the TV, what's he doing? What's he doing? Because I thought he got deked and thought the ball had gone into center field.
Right.
And I'm ready to start throwing things around the room.
Yeah.
And then they just show Feliz chasing after him. And I mean, literally, I'm 39 years old. I've watched baseball since I was 6. I have never ever seen that play before.
And me neither. I didn't even begin to know what was going on.
and then it's just a foot race, and then Damon's faster. Feliz just gave up. But they didn't tell you what was going on. I mean, could they tell me that there's nobody on third base?
Well, what is I haven't been really following the Sports Center and all that stuff. Did Charlie Manuel get killed for putting Teixeira doing that shift with Damon on first base?
Well, you know what he got killed? We know what he got killed for in the post-game press conference. They said to him, Charlie, whose play is that to cover third? And he's like, well, the pitcher, the catcher, somebody should cover. He didn't have like a set response of like, oh, no, we work on that spring training and it's supposed to be the catcher. And then Jimmy Rollins took it on himself and said he's the quarterback of the infield, that he should have been directing. He should have directed Lidge to go cover third.
Well, here's an idea, Charlie. Damon goes on first with 2 outs, and you're going to do that stupid shift. How about coming out to the mound and making sure everybody knows what's going to happen when Johnny Damon steals second, which he clearly was going to do? I mean,
the worst thing was that they didn't kill Charlie Manuel more for not having a good answer as to definitively who should cover. And the other thing that I've seen people kill him for or kill the Phillies for is when Damon goes to steal, why does Feliz have to take the throw? I mean, J-Roll is right there. He's playing behind second base. Why doesn't he field it, and then Feliz is there as kind of a safety to cover third if necessary?
Do you really need to do the exaggerated shift, though, at that point?
No, and the danger of that, too, is if Teixeira could just do a little check swing down the left field line.
Yeah, I just think that was overmanaging. It's hard to believe that somebody overmanaged more than Joe Girardi in a World Series game this year, but I think we saw it. I don't think we need the shift there, Charlie.
No, and when that play happened, I just didn't know. I was like, really? I mean, that's a dangerous play there.
Yeah.
It's gutsy by Damon, and now he gets praised, and it will be talked about for 100 years from now as like if the Yankees go on to win the series, as like one of the greater plays in World Series history. But if Feliz just reaches over and tags him right there,
yeah. I
mean, it's like bonehead Merkel basically.
Well, earlier in the game, hadn't he got hit in the head with a throw?
Hit in the head with a throw? He was, yes, sliding home. That's right.
Yeah, well, remember he had that severe, awful concussion that he got in the Red Sox-A's game.
Right.
And I think he was still a little loopy after it because you had that one giant concussion. If somebody taps you in the head the next time, you have like a mini concussion. I don't think he knew where he was. I think he saw third base, and it was like Reggie Jackson and Naked Gun. Must take third base.
He said that they had, they've talked about that in the past, especially when Teixeira's up, that when they have the shift and if third base is open, and he said if it was Sean Figgins covering second, he wouldn't have done it. But
why did Johnny have to make it racial?
Well, no, just because he's
I'm kidding.
Just because he's fast.
Is that what it is, Johnny?
Yeah, that's what it was.
There can't be fast white third base for Johnny, huh?
I'm trying to think of one. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's some. If Brett Gardner was playing, he wouldn't have done it. How about that?
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that if Mike Lowell was the third baseman now, I'm gonna guess he makes the mental note to maybe do that, or Hank Blaylock.
Yes.
Yeah, they're probably, when you come to think of it, there really just aren't that many fast third basemen. He's probably winning the foot race almost every time.
Pretty much.
It's about Sean Figgins, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, Feliz didn't even make any kind of an effort.
I thought that was an awesome
game.
game.
Steps and then just gave up.
Yeah, I thought that was an awesome game. I really enjoyed it.
It was incredible all around, really.
Yeah, as somebody who is openly and passionately rooting for the Phillies.
And freaking Chase Utley, my God. I mean,
yeah,
he can't get him out.
The one guy that kind of bothers me in the Phillies is Jason Worth. He's trying a little too hard with his look.
Well, you know what's funny is I saw a baseball card of his from a few years ago when he was a prospect in the Orioles organization. Have you seen this?
No.
And he had like the Coke bottle glasses and short hair.
Oh, so he's one of those late bloomer.
It was kind of like a Kent Tekulve look.
Oh, no.
And then, he got to Philly and started making a few bucks, and he has like a professional stylist or a girlfriend or wife or something who totally did that makeover.
Do you think that was a stomach punch game for the Phillies? I was thinking about it.
I thought so, but they bounced back last night.
Well, no,
I
but
thought that might finish them off.
Historically, how will people, let's say the Yankees win 6 or 7, I wonder how we remember that game. The combo of, that crowd was so fired up after the Feliz homer. Like, you cannot have a more fired up baseball crowd. I thought it was like at the level of the Yankees, Red Sox 2004, the Game 4-5 crowd. Like how into it that crowd was.
Yeah, they definitely were, and the Hankies going and the whole 9
yards. Oh, they were so fired up, and then just immediately.
Well, there was a plethora of dejected crowd shots afterwards.
Devastated.
Because you get 4-4 there, and you're at home, and you have last at bats, and you figure, and then Lidge gets 2 outs and goes to 2 strikes on Damon, and you figure it's all she wrote, and they're going to score in the bottom of the 9th.
I don't think it was a stomach punch. I think it was more of in the levels of losing. One of the categories is drive-by shooting.
Yeah.
That was more of a drive-by shooting. That Damon play was the drive-by shooting because after that happened, there was never a doubt the Yankees were somehow scoring at least 1 run in that inning because that was too weird.
Yeah, that was.
We weren't coming out of that inning without a Yankee touching home plate.
It was such a unique thing. It has to go down in like lore, and the only way it goes down in lore is if they win the game.
How are you feeling about the Yankees setup, guys?
Not good. I mean, they don't have. That's the thing. Today on the radio, they were saying, well, if the Yankees get a lead tomorrow, they might have to go to Rivera for 3 innings, which I think is just disastrous. I mean, that's just insanity. Because then, God forbid, something happens and you have to end up in a Game 7 and he's pitching underhanded.
Well, he'll definitely pitch 2.
Oh, he'll definitely pitch 2. 2 is one thing, but 3 is a bridge too far. But they don't have anybody. Girardi doesn't trust anybody. I mean, nor should they. Jabba looked good, and then he gives up a home run to Feliz. Phil Hughes has been shaky the entire postseason.
He's been really, really surprisingly shaky.
He's been really bad. So they don't. I mean, they don't have a bridge. That's the problem.
Nobody.
So who's been good is Damaso Marte.
Yeah, yes.
But he's only against lefties. You don't want to pitch him against a righty, so he's not the answer.
He has been. He's a nice matchup for this, or this Phillies team is a nice matchup for him, I should say.
I mean, if you look at the series, and you told me before it started that Sabathia was not going to have a win, Teixeira was hitting like 83, Cano
and Cliff Lee was 2-0,
and Cliff Lee was 2-0, and the Yankees were going back home with a 3-2 lead. I mean, I just said you were crazy.
Yeah, my buddy Hedge emailed me last night and said that there could be co-MVPs from a losing team in this series. Cliff Lee and Chase Utley were so much better than anyone else in the series.
I know, it's ridiculous. And I had a bitter Twitter today where I said if only we could harness the stuff that comes out of Chase Utley's hair, we could end our dependence on corn oil.
Why do you have to go after Chase Utley's hair?
Because he's killing the Yankees, and I had to just go after that Pat Riley hairdo of his.
That's uncalled for.
It really was, but it was the bitterness talking.
Well, so
do you think Chase and Cole get together and decide who has the more ridiculous first name? Is that like clubhouse conversation?
Well, don't forget doesn't Jason Worth have the Y in his name?
Yeah, with the Y in his name. It's like
prep school.
It's like prep school or some country club.
Yeah.
The country club foursome, out on the greens. I could see that, but not in a baseball clubhouse.
I gotta be, don't underestimate Cliff Lee in this discussion either.
Cliff Lee last night was a matchup of 2 guys from Arkansas pitching.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta say, pitching AJ on 3 days rest would have been one of my first choices. I didn't expect that to come off very well.
In his career, he was 4-0 on 3 days rest.
I know, but he was kind of borderline. What is it about him that's not trustworthy?
Well, because he throws these like pitches that have this sweeping break and they're wild, and the catcher's kicking it off his foot, and he makes me nervous. He's way too wild. I mean, he's got a great curveball, but he's way too wild. And then he's liable just to groove one as he did last night to Utley.
Yeah.
I had to Google A.J. Burnett the other night because I've watched him in the entire year, and not once have I ever heard anybody tell me what the A.J. stands for.
Oh, what does it stand for?
It stands for Alan James. Alan James Burnett.
Yeah, all right. Did he use the dots? He uses the dots.
I think so, yeah. But, all year I'm like, they tell you what CC stands for, Karsten Charles. They've do that over and over. But I'm like, it's weird. Is it just AJ?
Yeah.
But it's not. It's Alan James, but he goes by AJ.
Are you excited for some the game 6 is tomorrow night, right?
Correct.
Are you excited for a lot of close-ups of Andy Pettit's face again?
A lot of staring by Andy? Yes, I am. I look forward to that.
Why did they do that?
I don't know. It shows his intensity. I wish I had more confidence in him, though.
See, this is when I become sports czar and I want to have votes on stuff. I want to put that on the ballot for people to vote on. Are you okay with these close-ups on Andy Pettit's face? Yes or no? Are you okay in general with Fox closing in on everybody's face in the World Series? Or can we agree to keep like a 6-foot distance?
You know what they've avoided? I haven't seen any shots of Kate Hudson or Jay-Z. Maybe tomorrow night back in New York.
Well, I got to say, I'm a little disappointed by that.
I'm disappointed as well.
I don't think they've shown enough celebrities in the stands.
I don't think they've shown any. They've toned that way down this year. They must not have any shows to produce or any shows they're trying to sell.
That's something I'd tone down.
No, you'd tone it up?
I'd tone it up.
Well, people hate that, though.
No, but instead of the 75 shots of Andy Pettit's left cheekbone.
I like that. I like the stare over the glove.
I don't know. Not in the HD 60-inch TV era. I don't know if you can do the close-ups anymore.
Andy makes me nervous.
That made me think when I was watching the Mad Men, when they had the TV and it had, the TVs were doing, what was that called, when the picture would roll up and come down?
Yeah, like the vertical hold was off or whatever.
Yeah, I was thinking that wasn't that far ago that we had the vertical hold problems with TVs. The vertical hold's going.
I know, I was thinking that too, where they did the thing when Oswald got shot and they had they're like, well, the TV camera's changing lenses right now because it had like a different lens for close-up.
Yeah.
So there's like a second of like blurriness.
If we ever get time machine technology figured out, there should be a show where you bring stuff from like 50 years later back to people from 1960 and just show it to them. Can you imagine showing somebody a plasma?
Oh, my God.
60-inch HD plasma baseball game and showing them in 1960 what that looks like? These people would just pass out. What would they do?
What about cell phones?
Yeah, cell phones would be weird. There'd be a million things that would be weird, obviously. But
like Don Draper could have just called his girlfriend in the car and been like, "My wife came home. You have to get out of the car."
Yeah, it's true. It's funny because I was watching it, I was thinking, why doesn't he text her? What the hell is he thinking? Come on, Don. Text the girl. She's in the car. Yeah, she's getting killed right there, Jenny.
Wait until after dark. She has to skulk away.
Last thing, you joined me on the New York City book signing we did at Professor Tom's. Excuse me.
I did.
And first of all, I knew you were excited to be there because you were quick drinking, which is always a JackO signature move when he's really overexcited.
Well, getting out of the car when all the flash bulbs went off and people were chanting your name, it was like being with Brangelina.
That didn't happen.
It was troubling to me.
Come on.
It was troubling to me. I felt
that didn't happen.
I felt like someone that just got out of prison with all the lights and the noise. It was troubling.
The night ended at a Russian bar in New York City.
Yeah, and you're killing my performance at the Russian bar. I
was only killing the part where you made a communism joke.
I didn't. It wasn't that loud.
It's pretty loud.
I don't think so. I made it out of there, all right?
It's fairly loud. It's a little loud. Could have been less loud.
Probably.
Yeah, we went out with Jacoby, the czar of reality TV, and anytime somebody says the words, "I got to take you guys to this great Russian bar,"
yeah,
is that something you turn down?
No, it was great. It was a great place. I loved it. I want to go back again.
Yeah, it was good. The whole night was fun. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you for taking me. And all the fans, it was fantastic.
It was good. It was a nice turnout.
It was fun.
Fairly civil crowd. They gave you a couple who's...
Yeah, it was good watching the Yankees game and Cliff Lee's performance, getting heckled. That was fun.
You started to get surly around the fourth inning, though. I was a little worried.
I took it great. I was basking in the glow of pseudo-celebrity, so it was a good way for me to watch Game 1.
All right, well, I'm going to somehow figure out... So Game 6 is Wednesday.
Right.
Game 7 is Thursday.
There's not going to be a Game 7.
Game 7 is Thursday. So we're going to we'll call you again to figure out the schedule because I have Phoenix, then I got San Francisco, and then I got San Diego. But I think we might be able to pull off a Friday pod if you're around.
Yeah, I should be here.
So commit now to me, win or lose, Friday.
Oh yeah,
the BS report.
Of course, yeah. I'm
okay.
not gonna. I would never. I'm not one of these guys that leaves the locker room after a loss. I'll be there, win, lose, or draw.
All right, Joe Mead's a witness.
I'm not gonna duck out.
So Howard never saw you this week.
I'm like a 5.
Oh, wow! I would have gone lower for that for you. 5.
2004 has forever scarred me, unfortunately. So.
Oh, beautiful! I couldn't be happier to hear that.
I can never count my chickens.
When do you think Fox is going to spring the teams that came back from a 3-1 deficit in the World Series graphic?
Well, the other day on ESPN, right after the game, I was watching the postgame, and ESPN didn't hesitate on their Baseball Tonight special when they had times Yankees have been up 3-1 in a 7-game series, and they won it in Game 5 9 times. They won it in Game 6 4 times. They have never won it in a Game 7, and then it said lost in Game 7, and it said once. And there was an asterisk next to it, and it said 2004 ALCS.
Oh.
And then it took away all my joy from the Game 4 win.
Well, in World Series history, it couldn't have happened more than a couple times, I'm guessing.
Teams have come back from 3-1 before. The Pirates did it.
Yeah, I remember the Pirates.
Orioles.
And there was...
There's a couple teams, because they said...
I'm going to say there's like 3 teams.
There's like 5, because they said something about, I think it said 41 times teams have been up 3-1, and 36 times they've won the series.
Oh.
So it's like 5 times. And you're probably going way back when to teams that came back, other than the Pirates in 79. But
it definitely hasn't happened in a World Series recently.
No, the most recent one, I guess, is 79, so it's 30 years ago.
Wow. I remember that. That was a fun one.
Yeah.
That was a fun World Series in general.
We Are Family and
yeah, it was
Jim
good.
Palmer
A lot of stuff going on. The Orioles with some weird mustaches.
Yeah.
I like that series.
The bright orange uniforms. The Pirates had those old hats.
All right, Johnny. We'll call you on Friday.
All right.
Win or lose, answer
Absolutely.
the phone.
I'll be here.
Talk to you later.
Have fun on the tour.
So I get to sign off. Whoa!
Thank you for downloading the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Podcenter at ESPNRadio.com.
Peace out.
You laughed. You cried. You turned up the sound repeatedly, and now it's all over. Thus concludes another installment of the BS Report. And with all this talk about sports, Bill Simmons neglected to mention this important just breaking news. The $5 footlong anthem rolls on with Subway Everyday Value. So many of your Subway favorites are $5 footlongs, like the taste-tacular spicy Italian $5 footlong and the pile ridiculously high BLT $5 footlong, both made to your order on the freshly baked bread of your choice.